Many questions surrounding the shooting that claimed the life of Sergeant Sean Rios. The suspect's capture happened late this afternoon right off the Katy Freeway in the Beltway.
He's identified as 24-year-old Robert Solis.
On November 9th, 2020, off-duty Sergeant Sean Rios of the Houston Police Department was shot dead in broad daylight in a disputed road rage incident. The shooting occurred in the 7600 block of North Interstate Highway 45 at the Taj Inn Suites. At the time, 24-year-old Robert Solis was identified as the primary suspect. There's no argument Robert Solis shot and killed Sergeant Rios on the Houston freeway that day. He openly admitted to this. The question at hand is whether Solis had a legitimate claim to self-defense or not, a claim that most defendants in America will never win when an officer is deceased as a result. During the recent trial that took place, Assistant District Attorney Sarah Seeley challenged Solis on the stand. She argued that Solis was the first person to draw a firearm and shoot, which resulted in Sergeant Rios to draw his own weapon as he dropped his cell phone on the pavement, a moment that left him unable to call his fellow officers for help. The District Attorney's Office believes that Sergeant Rios identified himself as an officer that day, yet had no credible evidence to back this up. The DA's office accused Robert Solis of running into the Cactus King nursery as a maneuver to buy time because of his gun jamming. He even sustained scratches on his arm from crouching near the cactus plants, the DA's office said. At this point, Sergeant Rios was already shot and staggered off to the neighboring Taj Inn and Suites to ask for medical assistance. The prosecutors presented social media videos of Robert Solis during the trial to illustrate a menacing Latino gang member, a contrasting character from the one sitting in a buttoned-up collared shirt in the courtroom that day. Ultimately, Texas prosecutors failed in producing a convincing argument as a jury found Robert Solis not guilty in the shooting death of a police sergeant. The jury was most likely swayed by the facts presented by the defense, arguing that no evidence existed showing beyond a reasonable doubt that Sergeant Sean Rios was murdered in cold blood in an aggressive manner. Secondly, Robert Solis' defense team made a solid case in highlighting the fact that the Houston Police Department failed to investigate Solis' self-defense claim, most likely because of a conflict of interest, or what the public understands as the driving theme of Blue Lives Matter. That cops will always protect other cops, even when they make wrong decisions. This case is extremely important because it may be one of the only cases in modern American history in which someone was acquitted of killing a police officer. At a press conference following their victory in court, the defense attorneys echoed this, saying, "It's extremely rare. We can't think of another case where someone has been acquitted in the shooting death of an officer." And we also believe this is the case. This may be one of the only homicide trials in which an officer death was ruled not guilty by self-defense in favor of a civilian defendant. What makes this interesting is that the Robert Solis trial challenged the status quo in America, where the public believes that no matter the circumstances, if a civilian murders a police officer in the United States, you can be certain that person will live inside of a concrete box until their very last breath, even if the civilian was not at fault. The jury in the Robert Solis case unanimously agreed that police officers do not wear a cloak of invincibility and immunity at all times. This jury believed that police officers, such as Sergeant Rios, are indeed human beings that are capable of making wrong decisions. Most importantly, Robert Solis' defense attorneys Paul Looney and Wade Smith did the unthinkable. They persuaded a jury that a civilian had a justified self-defense murder claim in killing a cop. In Texas, a state that routinely executes prisoners on death row, a punishment in Texas that is especially reserved for cop killers. Having a cop-killing trial in a Republican state like Texas, a state that has a senator named John Cornyn who alluded in a June 2022 tweet that the Supreme Court should reinstate racist segregation laws from over 60 years ago, should have been doomed from the start. In the end, the outcome of this trial invites a different legal environment for police officers around the country. We won't know if more cases like this will occur in the future, or if politics might play a more deciding role in who is granted immunity in the court of public opinion.